The touching story of a development bank of Nigeria, 1 trillion naira beneficiary who never received a kobo. On Wednesday, 24th September at about 1 p.m., Peter Obi made a tweet that set the internet on fire. He questioned the claim from the Development Bank of Nigeria, DBN, that over 2 trillion naira, about $1 billion, has been disbursed to MSMEs in Nigeria. Here is what he said in his tweet. Where did 1 trillion naira go? I recently read a report from the Development Bank of Nigeria, DBN, stating that it has disbursed over 1 trillion naira to micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs, in Nigeria since 2015. By simple conversion over the said period, this amounts to more than $1 billion. I did not comment immediately on this claim because I wanted to investigate further, especially through my travels and contacts with small businesses across the country. The reality is that most of them are not even aware of any such disbursement, and over 80% are unaware of the bank's very existence. The level of knowledge about the existence and utility of such an institution is directly proportional to its impact on the people it is meant to serve. If indeed such an amount was deployed to support enterprises, the results should be evident. For instance, if $1 billion were disbursed in small loans averaging about $1,000 each, it could have supported at least 1 million small businesses. The ripple effect of this would have been no less than 3 million new jobs, with visible growth in enterprises, an improved economy, and measurable progress in lifting people out of poverty. But the reality before us today tells a different story. Unemployment remains at a record high. Businesses are struggling to survive rather than thriving. Many enterprises are shutting down or relocating outside Nigeria, and poverty is deepening instead of reducing. So the critical question is, if 1 trillion naira truly left the coffers of DBN to empower Nigerians, where did the money go? How can such a huge sum be disbursed and yet ordinary Nigerians feel no impact? Empowerment is not a slogan or a campaign tool. It must be proven by results. Nigerians need to know where the money went, who exactly were the beneficiaries, what tangible businesses were created, where is the proof of jobs generated or poverty reduced. Without answers to these questions, the claim of 1 trillion naira disbursement remains yet another round of grand deception, where scarce national resources are captured by a few elites and recycled under the guise of empowerment schemes. Nigeria must insist on transparency and accountability. Our people deserve evidence that such vast sums are being invested in their lives and future, not lost to corruption or buried in empty statistics. A new Nigeria is possible. P.O. Ever since many small businesses have come forward to recount their experiences with the bank, below is a touching Twitter account of one Giovanni Ifedi Williams at the Giovannis. Dear Rufai, let me share with you a first-hand account of how the Development Bank of Nigeria, DBN, is misrepresenting its role in funding Nigerian entrepreneurs. In 2019, I was part of the cohort, one of entrepreneurs gathered by DBN, about 50 of us in total. They gave us a week-long in-class capacity building training, and at the end, gave us shiny certificates of participation. Afterwards, they told us to approach DBN's partner commercial banks to access the DBN-sourced credit facility. Here's where the game became clear to us. DBN said it sourced funds at single-digit interest rates. Instead of lending directly to us, the entrepreneurs they had just trained, they sold the funds to commercial banks at a marked up rate. Those banks in turn offered the loans to us at their commercial rates, making the facility just as expensive as any other loan in the market. If DBN and their enablers are sincere about stimulating struggling MSMEs to rise, grow, and scale, they would not erect artificial toll gates that only inflate loan costs and make them inaccessible. As someone who sat through that 2019 training, I can tell you this: not a single colleague of mine got DBN funding to grow their business. Even in the cohort that followed, I know of no one who successfully accessed those funds. Instead, DBN adopted a glossy, PR-friendly model. It was after the cohort won in 2019 that they started organizing a pitch competition where they pick winners and give 1 million to 5 million Naira grants, depending on DBN's move. The other finalists go home with nothing but a certificate and the illusion that they've been empowered. And yet, DBN claims it has funded Nigerian entrepreneurs with 1 trillion Naira since 2015. If that claim is true, let them publish the names of these beneficiaries and let those beneficiaries confirm receipts. The reality is DBN's real product is training for optics, not funding. Optics. They make entrepreneurs believe that capacity building alone is enough to elevate their businesses to global competitiveness, even without capital. Many in my cohort bought into that ideology. Today, most of them have closed shop. Some have even fled Nigeria. This is not an isolated story. It mirrors what Buhari's government did to us entrepreneurs in 2018 with YouWin Connect. They selected 5,000 finalist entrepreneurs across the country, promised 10 million Naira each under a 50 billion Naira World Bank-backed fund, trained us, gave certificates, and paraded the program as proof of supporting MSMEs. I still remember Vice President Yemi Osinbajo going on Brekete Radio, saying the government had funded 5,000 businesses. Meanwhile, not a kobo was released to most of us. We even staged protests at the Ministry of Finance and later at Transcorp Hilton during Jonathan's book launch, just to get attention. Still, the funds never came. A few insiders, through backdoor deals and bribery, got part of the grant and forfeited the rest to their benefactors. Rufai, the truth is that entrepreneurship funding programs is now Nigeria's biggest cash cows for cronies of the political class. Entrepreneurs now see development finance institutions like DBN, BOI, BOA, and Infrastructure Bank more as money laundering conduits for state actors. A proper forensic investigation into DBN's so-called 1 trillion Naira disbursements promise to leave you in shocks and goose pimples. Their capacity building trainings are channels to source content, pictures, and videos for optics to make you think they're making real impact. But on the ground, the Nigerian entrepreneur is still gasping for survival. If they truly financed businesses as they claim, why don't we see the effects in the economy? Rufai, many MSMEs owners in Nigeria have never even heard of Development Bank of Nigeria to start with. Why are MSMEs still shutting down for lack of funding and no visible trail of thriving DBN-backed enterprises? DBN is the government's PR machine. Their entrepreneurship support is only but a fleece. Soon, Nigerians will reply state actors in a language they don't understand. History gave other victims the courage to start speaking up. Their testimonies revealed that the DBN program is not the only MSME empowerment program in Nigeria with similar issues. Here are the testimonies of other victims. At Layinka tweeted, "I can testify to this. No funding, only training. At least you got mouth-watering meals. I can't remember if the meals we were served in my own zone were mouth-watering." At Ilowanyaki tweeted, "Same here. All I got was a certificate after the intense process." At Sami07 retweeted, "Thank you for speaking out. I once approached a bank asking about DBN facilities. When I saw their advert on TV, lo and behold, the bank knew nothing about it. Scam." At Iremi __tweeted. You forgot to mention that they still charge money for the training sessions, or I think it was 10,000 or thereabouts then. Thank God I saw through their sham. I refused to pay any dime then. And the instructor asked me not to come without payment. At Obapi tweeted. Now, so NIRSAL do some of us that year. They even told us to open accounts and be funding it. Omo 9J, I no follow abeg, at Grace __ tweeted. I don't even want to remember my NIRSAL loan experience, but we keep going regardless. A new normal is possible, tweeted. One of my good friends, whose dad was in the House of Rep, contacted me to fill a form and collect NIRSAL loan during Buhari regime. The idea was to use my business to get the loan and share the money in percentages, but I declined. I don't like eating with the devil. Web3 Norma tweeted, LL. I forgot that of NIRSAL Ajemi's loan too. Finished training, got interviewed, told to open a bank account as part of the process. Never heard from them again. Meanwhile, they gave people that didn't do the training, had no business or business idea these monies. Loud inner voice tweeted, but that's how governments spend money. Workshops, seminars, train the trainers, seminar materials, logistics, and 50 billion naira gone. How else do you think government workers make money? The testimonies go on and on and on and on. All these go a long way to show that Peter Obi was actually right. A lot is going on in these agencies. If these abnormalities are to end, a new leadership with competence, character, and compassion is required. We all know who can give us that kind of leadership, don't we? If you enjoyed this video, then you may want to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss the next one. We will also be waiting for you in the comment section to continue the conversation. Thanks for watching.